of birth within a border. Ending birthright citizenship will prioritize the rights of American citizens and lawful residents. This reform is not about denying opportunity. It's about ensuring fairness, order, and a system that works for everyone. We can no longer allow our immigration system to be exploited. We must put an end to birthright citizenship. Those that desire to be a United States citizen must do it legally. You must assimilate, pledge your allegiance to America, follow our laws, and speak our language. Our time is now. And next, I'll recognize John Rose from Tennessee. John?
So much of what I have to say has already been said, but I will say this. We should not confuse the legislation that we're talking about today and this issue with being anti-immigrant. This nation every year welcomes more legal immigrants than any country on the face of the earth. And we love to have these people who want to come here and embrace what America is, people yearning to be free and willing to subject themselves to the laws of this country. We want them to come here, and there is a process for that. So this is not about that. This is about two things principally. From a practical perspective, this is about having laws in place that protect the sovereignty of this country and preserve citizenship for people who have come here in an intentional way, embracing all that is America. So from a very practical perspective, it should not just be the luck of being in the country when you're born that makes you a United States citizen. That was never the intent, and we can look back at the words that those who put the 14th Amendment in place and when it was adopted in 1868, what were they intended to accomplish, and what are the full context and meaning of the words that they put into the 14th Amendment. So from a practical perspective, birthright citizenship doesn't make any sense, and there's a reason why almost every other country around the world has rejected this notion, because it is frankly unworkable. The second reason is the legal reason. Trained as a lawyer, you have to read the language of laws, and in this case, the 14th Amendment. And while it says that if you're born in this country, that's part of it, but you have to have subjected yourself to the jurisdiction. And those words had critical meaning at the time, and they still should have that meaning today. You must subject yourself to the jurisdiction of this country, and that is not done by mere presence in the country. These two reasons make it clear that birthright citizenship is a mistaken notion from a misunderstanding about the words that are reflected in the 14th Amendment. We need to solve this problem, because in so doing, we can ensure that citizenship has the full meaning that was intended by the framers of the Constitution and even by those who adopted the 14th Amendment. This is good law, it's correct law, and it will make American citizenship be the great blessing that it should be, not only for those who obtain it legally, but for those of us who are already here and citizens and want to welcome people from around the world to make this a better nation. Thank you for having me, letting me be part of this, and it's my great honor to introduce Tom Tiffany from Wisconsin's 7th District. Tom?
Thanks so much, John. First of all, thank you, Representative Babin, for introducing this legislation. But also thank you, President Trump, for setting the table for us to be able to deal with issues like this that have long sat dormant, that have had the rule of law here in America, that are perhaps not following the original intent of the Constitution that we have here in the United States of America. I'm standing here today to share with you an example of birthright citizenship and its absurdity. In the Mariana Islands, there is a loophole that you can get into Saipan and have a baby there and have it declared a citizen. Back in 2009, visas were waived for the communist Chinese and for Russians to be able to come in to the CNMI and be able to recreate there and things like that. No visa required. Well, guess what happened? You saw many communist Chinese that came and had birth there. In fact, it got so bad a decade ago that there were far more births by Chinese women happening on Saipan than there was of the local residents. This was all set in place back in 2009. So as a result of that, they're saying that they have citizenship. So think about the country that is our greatest adversary, as we are here as they are in the 21st century here, communist China, and we are allowing them to be able to come in to our territory and simply be able to declare citizenship for children of the communist Chinese being born on that island. That is the absurdity of birthright tourism, and allowing. Just think about the great threat to our foreign policy that happens as a result of this. So it's time to close this up. This is just one small example of how our immigration system has been used in so many different ways to be weaponized against the American people. And a couple people have said about how this devalues citizenship in America. You know who knows the value of citizenship in America? The cartels. They charge $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. We've heard as much as $50,000 for a person to be able to come into America. We should not be giving these away like candy, like is happening in the Mariana Islands currently. It is time to address birthright citizenship as it was under the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. And I want to turn it over to my friend Mike Collins from the great state of Georgia.
Thank you, Congressman Tiffany. Thank you, Dr. Babin, Congressman Biggs, for introducing this and bringing this up. I want to kind of hit off of what Congressman Norman said earlier. I mean, think about this. 1 out of 10, 400,000 on average are having children birthright citizenship. Now, Dr. Rose, I'm not a lawyer, but common sense tells me that these folks ain't over here on vacation now and just happen to go in labor. They're coming across that border down there illegally, and they're using us like the international piggy bank. Well, 2 things are about to happen. Number 1, that border's going to be closed. Illegal immigration, don't come across it unless you come across it legally. Number 2, if you want to come into this country from now, this is America first. Come over here, help assimilate, and advance the American culture. Otherwise, stay at home. It's a new day in our country. The American people are demanding that we are a nation of laws, and you come across the border legally or you go back home. With that, I thank you, and I'm going to turn it over to Representative Weber out of Texas.
Thanks, Mike, and thank you all for bringing this bill up. People say to me from time to time, Randy, you don't like immigration, you just are against immigration. And I look them dead center and I say, no, I'm not. I wouldn't be here without it. My grandfather and my great-grandfather came over from Germany on the boat in 1903. We have the manifest. My grandmother to Texas. They went through New York and came to Texas. My grandmother's family came over in 1845 and settled in Central Texas. If that hadn't happened, I wouldn't even be here. But